Hello, it's Jessie from Tula. In this video, we're going to look at our agni or our digestive fire. I'm going to talk through some symptoms that we may experience if our agni is a little bit weak, then onto some common causes, meaning things that we can do that might be weakening our agni, and finally, we'll look at some tips in how we can strengthen our agni. So, I hope that all sounds very exciting for you. And please remember to always use discernment when you're listening to any advice given to you online. With that being said, let's get started. All right, so what exactly is agni? I'm sure some of you are familiar with this term. For those of you who aren't, agni it actually refers to many things, but today we're going to look at agni referring to our digestive fire. And this is the energy that we have inside of us to digest food and life. So actually the two are very, very connected. So when we consume anything, food, liquid, anything, entertainment, images, sounds, music, anything that we consume in our senses is then digested by our agni. Okay, so if it's digested successfully, then it turns into consciousness and health and vitality. And if it's not digested successfully, it turns into toxins, which we then have to clean. So it's very, very good to take care of your agni. I was taught to think of it like a fire. So imagine you have a fire in your stomach. Now, if you throw wet leaves on a fire, what happens? It smolders, it smokes, and this is exactly like the food or anything we're digesting. It will begin to rot. We need to feed a fire, we need to stoke it. You don't want to feed it too much, and you will experience, if your agni is too strong or too hot, these are the people that will eat a full meal and then 30 minutes later feel very hungry. That is also imbalance. So first of all, let's take a look at some symptoms that may be revealing that our agni is weakened. And of course, I invite you to come along for the ride and see if any of these symptoms appear in your own experience. Symptom number 1, constipation. Now, constipation in Ayurveda is considered going to the toilet, number 2, less than once a day. It actually varies. It can be between 1 and 4. That depends on your constitution. And if you would like to go deeper with what your constitution is and what that means, please check out my services down below. But at least minimum once a day. And if the digestive system is working healthily, that is, you're eliminating first thing in the morning when you wake up. Anything, if you're going a day or 2 days or 3 days without using number 2, that waste product is staying in the system, it's rotting, and then it's actually being carried to the cells of your body. And this, my friends, is what leads to disease down the line. Okay, constipation is a very early sign. So if you are experiencing this, this is something that we would like to address as soon as possible so you stay healthy and happy. Another symptom of weak agni is gas or bloating throughout the day, either before eating, after eating, any moment really. Gas meaning farting a lot or burping. If you're doing these things throughout the day and continuously, your agni is weak and it's speaking to you. Another symptom is having a very low appetite or having a very high appetite, as I spoke about at the beginning of the video. If you eat and then half an hour, 1 hour later you're hungry, your agni is too strong. And if you've got a very low appetite and you don't feel like eating often or regularly, then agni is very weak. And some other signs of weak agni, but not limited to, I will add, are sluggishness, feeling lethargic, dullness in the mind, like lack of enthusiasm for life and your daily tasks, poor circulation, strong, smelly body odor. Now, a little bit is okay and it's normal and it doesn't smell like roses, but if it's very, very pungent, you know what I mean? That's agni. Bad breath and poor immunity. If you're getting colds frequently, we want to address agni. So now let's look at some common causes of weak agni. These are things maybe we're doing day to day, which is not stoking the fire appropriately, but maybe we're throwing on those wet leaves or we're adding too much fuel. So as always, pay attention and think about and reflect on whether you maybe do some of these in your day. Drinking too much liquid whilst eating. Ayurveda recommends to drink a tea maybe before, about 20 minutes before eating, or wait 20 minutes after. Otherwise, think about that fire. We're pouring liquid straight onto it. Another thing is not chewing. This is like one of the main things. Anything that we don't chew to liquid isn't easily digested in the stomach. It has to work a lot harder. If your agni is already weak, it won't assimilate half the nutrients that you're eating. You could have a perfect diet, and if you're not chewing it properly, the body won't take it in. So that's a key point that we'll come back to later. Poor food combinations. Now, there's quite a lot of these in Ayurveda, and they almost all contradict like typical Western diets. I will give one example here, which is eating fruit with any other food. They really recommend fruit digests much faster than other foods, so they really recommend eating it not with other food, otherwise it ferments and rots because of the different digestive speed. Eating with indigestion. If you haven't digested your previous meal, it could even be from the day before, and then you eat and put more food on top of that, again, it rots, it ferments, and then the body has more work to do to clean that out. Overeating. Okay, that's when you're eating such a good meal and you finish it and someone goes, "Do you want seconds?" And you go, "Oh, I really shouldn't, but it was so good, I will." Burp, burp, burp. Please don't overeat. The body doesn't like it. It doesn't assimilate the extra food that you've eaten. And it just passes through, or it gets stored in the body as fat, as toxins, as ama, and again, leads to disease. So I will look at one way coming up in the video of how we know when we've eaten enough. Sleeping within 2 hours of eating. So if you eat and then go to bed immediately or within 2 hours, the energy is dispersed in the body. Once you're sleeping, agni, your digestive fire, doesn't have all of the energy because it moves around and it's doing other things while we're unconscious. Thank goodness. So if you eat and then go straight to bed, it really affects agni and its functioning. Cold food and drink, ice cream, for example. Now, when I was a kid, whenever I was given ice cream, I used to stir it around in the bowl until it melted and it was creamy and delicious and warm temperature. And little did I know how wise I was. If we have ice cream or very, very cold drinks with ice, imagine ice on the fire. It really, really dampens your digestive fire. Now, I'm not saying never eat ice cream, never have a cold drink, but have it in moderation and be conscious. If you start to realize your agni is very weak, don't have ice cream. Wait until agni is strengthened again and then do it. I never say never to anything. I think everything can be enjoyed in moderation as long as we're aware of what it's doing inside of us. Another key factor is when we snack between meals. We're not giving our body enough time to digest. It depends, it actually really depends person to person how long your digestive takes, but it's 4 to 6 hours. Can be a little bit less for some people if you digest very quickly. So if you eat at 2 p.m. and then you have a snack at 4, your body's still digesting the last meal. It might be in the small intestines at this point. And then you put more food into the stomach. And then poor agni is divided. Where do I go? Do I go to the stomach or the small intestines? And it weakens it. You see, you're not helping it function optimally when we snack. Very important. Eating quickly or on the go or walking or driving, and we'll look at reasons why a little bit later. And of course, fast food, refined food, frozen food, all of these aren't very nutritious, and all that happens is we eat them and the body then has to process the toxins that you've put into it. Really doesn't serve us, even if it tastes good. So we've looked at symptoms, we've looked at potential causes, and now on to the good bit. What are some Ayurvedic tips to help strengthen our agni? So one of the main ways that we can strengthen our agni, and it's a very gentle way actually, is by bringing consciousness to what we eat, when we eat, why we eat, where we eat, all of this, all right? So we want to, as much as we can, eat at the same time of day. Agni gets used to that routine. And how we're eating it. Are we eating it fast? Are we eating it slow? No distractions, if possible. Be very present with the food. It's very simple, but bringing presence and awareness to our eating experience not only amplifies the experience, but the body and agni loves it as well. And you could even add, which I like to do before I sit down to eat, is take a moment, take a breath, relax yourself inside, and give a little prayer of thanks. You know, so many people, so many hands, so many animals and insects and elements involved in getting that one meal onto our plate. It's the connection with nature. It's super beautiful. Let's be grateful for that. It really builds a very healthy relationship with food. Chew until liquid. Honestly, if anyone asked me what is the one Ayurvedic advice that you would give, it would be this. And even if you want to lose weight, chew your food properly and stop at the first burp. Oh, this is blending into two. Chew your food into liquid. It takes a lot of chews and it's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but challenge yourself. Do it for one day and observe how you feel the next day and how your digestive system feels and your body. It's revolutionary. And then how to know when we're full to avoid overeating. The body geniusly actually gives you a little burp when it's finished, when it's full. And when I say full, the stomach, they say in Ayurveda, you want to leave around 20%, if you're into percentages, which I am, of air. So it has space to digest and move all the things around. And if we're filling it to the top and even stretching it, it doesn't have that air, which is very vital in the digestive process. So chew your food and stop at the first burp. You'll notice as you start practicing with the burp, I don't even need to burp now. I can feel it coming and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I'm very strict with this. Actually, once I burp, that's it. And it's helped me a lot. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't snack between meals unless it's fruit, or you have a routine where like your meals are really, really far apart and you need to eat something, by all means. But another little challenge for any of you, remove snacks out of your life and see how much better it gets. And if your agni is pretty weak and you feel it, or you feel indigestion before you're about to eat the next meal, Ayurveda recommends taking a ginger tea 20 minutes before you eat. Ginger is fiery and hot, right? So it stimulates the fire inside of us. If you need to stimulate it even more, if you feel it's really, really weak, you can actually get a slice of ginger, put a pinch of salt and a drop or two of lime or lemon juice and chew it. And that really activates. 20 minutes before eating, the body's like, okay, food's coming, and that's stoking the fire. Lastly, if you are experiencing indigestion and nothing's going well, really good idea is to have a khichdi, which you'll find recipes online, which is like a soupy rice concoction with stimulating spices, and eating that for a day or maybe 3 days, as long as you need, is a way to really support agni coming back online, so to speak. So guys, there we have it. That is my brief introduction to agni. And if you do decide to implement some of these changes, I recommend going one at a time. When we try to make too many changes at once, we can feel overwhelmed, and then we throw it all out and we get McDonald's and ice cream. You know, so think about one that might be easy for you to implement. Chew food. Stop at the burp. Whatever one calls to you most, and try it. Give it time. Wait for that cause and effect. See if it's made any difference. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it hasn't. You'll have to see how your body responds. And then once that habit, if it has made a difference and is implemented, then you can take a look at introducing something else. This way we avoid overwhelm. So that's just a suggestion. That's been my experience with Ayurveda. It's been much more successful when I go step by step. All right, guys, that is my general introduction to Agni. I really hope you enjoyed the video and you gained something from it, or at least you enjoyed it. And I ask you, if you would like to help support this channel, please like the video, thoughts down below, share it to anyone you think this will be helpful for, and of course subscribe for more videos like this. If you want to go deeper with your exploration of Ayurveda and what it does for you, and you would like to work with me, please check out my website. There you can book a consultation and we'll take it from there. I would love the opportunity to work with you. Thank you. All right, guys, have a beautiful life.